I'm gonna freaking destroy you. Aaron Donald isn't built to ease back in. If he returns, the Rams may unleash a wrecking ball every snap. But can McVay control him before his comeback changes the NFC West?
Finally, the NFC West, a little surprise. I'll take Seattle to win over the Rams. Everybody in the world's telling me the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. The team is hearing that. You know what? They're going to be a really, really good team and win 11 games. I think Seattle could win 12. Here's what I love about Seattle. The last 2 years, best road team in the league. And I mean a fantastic road team, 15-2. And that's when you're in Seattle, where you have very long flights to the East Coast and the South. They're returning all their best players. All of them are in their prime. JSN, Witherspoon, Eamon Worry, Sam Darnold. It is a highly athletic young team that has cost control. They were excellent against playoff teams last year, 6-2. I like Seattle. Road games against good teams, Super Bowl confidence, cost control, all their best players, all of them in their prime. Rams, they return all 11 offensive starters. There's no reason to debate this. They could win the Super Bowl. I think these two teams, in my opinion, are the best two teams in the NFL. Seahawks, Rams, 1-2 in my book. San Francisco, I worry about it. Now, they were 12-5 and won a playoff game last year, so let's not go crazy town on this. It's a very well-coached team, but they were 20th ranked in defense. They struggled to get to the quarterback. They have the oldest roster. They are highly reliant at left tackle, running back, edge rusher, linebacker on veteran players who are coming off injuries.
But the NFC West drama doesn't end with who wins the division. Behind the Rams' Super Bowl expectations, something far more explosive is developing, and it could change everything.
Here's where I would say we are with Aaron Donald. The reality is if we've gotten to the point where, as I said this summer, once he said he was going to start working out, I felt like I went above 50-50. I was like, if he's saying I'm going to do football workouts, we're on our way. The point at which he put a helmet on and started hitting sleds, I was like, okay, what are we talking about at this point? Because if you've put a helmet on as a lineman, we're talking about D-line, O-line play. You strap that chin strap on, that's the most annoying part of your entire life, all right? So when you put the helmet on, you strap the chin strap, you're planning on playing some damn football, all right? Yeah. My thing is that I feel like right now we're just in a little bit of, I think there's pressure once you sign of how much you're doing. And then that becomes the daily topic of how many snaps is he playing? Is he going to play in the preseason? Is he playing in game one? I think there is hey, we want this to be a long runway, would be my guess. And I think that's the smartest plan, is this needs to be a long runway. And I think him staying out of the building is probably a little bit my guess. A little bit of everybody kind of gets that. And it's like, hey, you take the right amount of time to make sure you're ready to play. Right. And then once you feel like, hey, I'm in the building, I'm ready to start taking some real snaps, and we don't have to avoid that whole topic every day, sign up and let's go. And then, listen, there's still a contract to figure out, Fitz. So there is some semantics to like, how is this going to work? But I think once you put that helmet on, it's go time. We know what the opportunity is.
Can I ask you, though, because just from the outside looking in, competitor, one of the best defensive players of all time, no doubt.
Yeah.
Is there any way that Sean McVay says, hey, you're playing 15 snaps, and he's like, yeah, coach, that sounds good. I'll just go in for 15 snaps? I just feel like he's a guy that he's either all in or he's not, and he's not going to be able to have the limited snap count at like third down only kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's going to be probably one of the things that I would say from the outside looking in, that I go, all right, there is going to be some stress here on his expectations and theirs. And I don't mean this from him being wrong or them being wrong, but when you start looking at their roster and you go, all right, you got Poona Ford, you got Kobe Turner, you got Braden Fisk, you got this interior group that you really like, right? Don't forget about Tyler Davis. They have some guys that have taken a lot of snaps for them inside and played really well. So how do you manage all those snaps, and how do you make sure, like, man, we don't want other guys getting worse because they're not playing at all. So how do we figure that all out? Because it's not like AD's entering a team where it's different if it was somebody coming back and you don't have that position and it's a need. This is a position where they've got a lot of really good football players. They just don't have one of the best players that's ever played the game in Aaron Donald. So figuring that out, there's going to be some contention, I think, throughout the season of, hey, AD, we want to slow you into this thing, but this dude is not wired like that. When Aaron Donald shows up, I used to always say this, like I always thought Geno Atkins, really special player I got to play with in Cincinnati, an elite defensive tackle, a Pro Bowl player. Always said the only difference to me in Geno and AD in the sense of like how they played is that I thought Geno Atkins, it felt like, hey, I'm going to go find my wins in this game. Aaron Donald was like, from the moment the ball snaps, I'm going to effing destroy you every snap. Like whether I make a play or not, who cares? I am going to embarrass you every play. That's the mentality he plays the game with. You're not holding that off the football field unless you want to be the guy that says, hey, AD, sit this play out. No chance. When he says, I'm going in, you say, yes, sir, Mr. Donald, run on the field and we'll take somebody off. So that's going to be something to me we're going to have to watch throughout the years. Can he govern himself or are they going to try to govern his snaps? Because this dude, there is no holdback.
Aaron Donald isn't built to come back quietly. The moment he put on a helmet and started hitting sleds, the conversation changed. This wasn't just an athlete staying in shape. This looked like a man preparing to play football again.
And that's terrifying for the NFC West. Because Donald's mentality has never been about easing into a game. It has always been about domination. I'm going to freaking destroy you. That is the mindset the Rams could potentially bring back into the middle of their defense. But there is one enormous question. Can Sean McVay actually control him? And while everyone is watching the Rams, Seattle is quietly building the strongest case to take this division away from them. I'll take Seattle over the Rams.
That's the surprise. Everybody is telling us Los Angeles can win the Super Bowl, and they absolutely can. But Seattle has something incredibly difficult to beat.
But continuity. Over the last 2 seasons, the Seahawks have gone 15-2 on the road. Think about that.
Seattle has to deal with some of the longest flights in the NFL, traveling to the East Coast and the South, and yet they have consistently performed away from home. Against playoff teams last year? 6-2. Their best players are still young and entering their prime. JSN, Witherspoon, Amon, Wari, Sam Darnold, and the rest of this athletic core. They have talent. They have experience. They have confidence. And they still have cost control. That's a dangerous combination. But don't mistake that for disrespect toward Los Angeles, because the Rams may have the most dangerous roster in football. The Rams return all 11 offensive starters. There is no reason to dismiss them. They can win the Super Bowl. In fact, Seattle and Los Angeles may be the 2 best teams in the NFL. But Aaron Donald creates a fascinating problem. The Rams already have Poona Ford, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, and Tyler Davis inside. These players have taken real snaps and played well. So what happens when one of the greatest defensive players ever walks back into the building? Who loses snaps? And more importantly, will Donald accept limited snaps? Because this isn't a player who has ever seemed comfortable watching from the sideline. And this is where Aaron Donald's personality becomes just as important as his physical ability. One comparison explains Aaron Donald perfectly. Geno Atkins was an elite defensive tackle, a Pro Bowl player who knew how to find his victories. But Aaron Donald was different. His mentality was, from the moment the ball snaps, I'm gonna frickin' destroy you. Every snap. It didn't matter whether he made the play. He wanted the offensive lineman across from him to feel him. That's why telling Donald you're playing 15 snaps may be easier said than done. The Rams might want a long runway. They might want to protect him. They might want to slowly increase his workload. And honestly, that's probably the smartest approach. But once Donald believes he's ready, you may not be able to hold him back. And that's why the biggest battle in Los Angeles may not even be against another team. It may be between Aaron Donald's instincts and Sean McVay's plan. Then there's San Francisco. Let's be fair. The 49ers went 12-5 and won a playoff game. They're still extremely well coached. But there are warning signs. Their defense ranked 20th. They struggled to consistently get to the quarterback. And they have the oldest roster of these NFC West contenders. They're relying heavily on veteran players coming off injuries at left tackle, running back, edge rusher, and linebacker. That doesn't mean San Francisco is finished. It means the margin for error is getting smaller. Because Seattle is young. Los Angeles is loaded. And both teams are coming into the season with serious championship expectations. So now the division comes down to a fascinating collision of styles, and Aaron Donald could be the piece that makes the entire picture explode. Seattle has the 15-2 road record. They went 6-2 against playoff teams. Their core is young, athletic, and entering its prime. The Rams return all 11 offensive starters, and their roster has enough firepower to win the Super Bowl. San Francisco has experience, coaching, and a 12-5 foundation. But Aaron Donald changes the equation. Because if he really returns, this isn't simply about adding another defensive tackle. It's about bringing back one of the most terrifying competitors of his generation. The Rams may want to manage his snaps. Donald may want every snap. And somewhere in the middle, Sean McVay has to find the answer. Because when Aaron Donald says he's ready, you don't tell him to relax. You don't tell him to take it easy. You put him on the field. And you let him do what he has always done. Destroy people. The NFC West already looks like a war. Aaron Donald's comeback could turn it into something much worse.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.